How is it going? I hope everyone's doing well, and thank you for tuning in this video. Today, I'm here with my pay-per-view review for WWE Fastlane 2021. Let's go ahead and dive right into the video. Before we get into the pay-per-view, I want to go ahead and discuss the news that came out after the show, which was that WWE has released Andrade. And honestly, it's not surprising. The news came out last week that he requested his release, which was denied. But, obviously things have changed since then. And it sucks. It's just a missed opportunity from WWE. Obviously they had a potential huge star in him. He easily could have been their next Eddie Guerrero, but for one reason or another, things just never worked out. And, the writing was kind of on the wall the moment he split from Zelina. She was pretty much a huge centerpiece of success. So as the moment those two split, it was kind of, end game for him. And they could have honestly saved him if they paired him with Charlotte, but for whatever reason, they just weren't for the idea. And yeah, he's no longer with the company. Obviously, everyone's going to say AEW for Andrade, but personally, I'd love to see him go back to New Japan, join, LIJ. I think that'd be absolutely awesome for him, but wherever he goes, he definitely is going to be a huge star, and I can't wait to see, where he ends up. So I just thought I'd go ahead and cover that news quickly before I discuss the pay-per-view. So, from there on, let's go ahead and now discuss Fastlane, which of course started off with the kickoff show, which featured the United States Championship match, Riddle defending against Mustafa Ali. I thought it was a solid match, one of the better kickoff show matches we usually get. I thought it was fun. They were pretty much countering, exchanging. Mustafa Ali pretty much, talking trash the entire match, telling, Retribution, this is how you do it, this is how you get it done. And a lot of near falls as well. I thought towards the end, the amount of exchanges they had, like Riddle would go for the floating bro and Mustafa Ali would have his knees up. There were a lot of great counters and exchanges towards the end of it, to the point where I thought Mustafa Ali actually had a chance of winning it. But towards the end, Mustafa Ali ended up getting hit with the bro Derek from the second rope. So a pay-per-view quality finish on the kickoff show here with the U.S. title, if you ask me. So yeah, a huge bro Derek from the second rope from Riddle. 1, 2, 3 retains the U.S. title against Mustafa Ali. Like I said, solid match. Definitely one of the better kickoff show ones. And then, of course, afterwards, Mustafa Ali is bitching and complaining to Retribution, saying how he's tired of them disappointing him and letting him down. Reckoning leaves, and of course, then Slapjack follows, and then T-Bar and Mace end up getting a double choke slam to Ali. So I'm pretty sure Retribution's done. They've pretty much have been dead in the water since Arrival. So I'm honestly surprised they've made it as far as they have. But yeah, I don't think anyone in the world really cares to see Retribution splitting up, or at least Ali leaving Retribution. I don't think anyone really cares, but it is what it is. And then, obviously we follow up into the main pay-per-view, which opened up with the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax defending, of course, against Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, WrestleMania opponents. And honestly, compared to their Elimination Chamber match, I thought that match was slightly better than this one. I just couldn't get into it. Both teams were arguing who were going to start, and then once they did, Sasha and Bianca kind of had the upper hand until Shayna got the upper hand over Sasha and then worked over her majority of the match until Bianca got the huge hot tag and ran rush shot over both Nia and Shayna for a good little while, to the point where she actually hit the 450 onto Shayna, but she was not able to get the pin because Reginald went onto the apron. And then, Sasha Banks tried to fight him off, but was unsuccessful. Back in the ring, Sasha got the tag, so her and Shayna going at it. And it looked like Sasha Banks secured the victory. She was able to lock in the bank statement onto Shayna. But as Bianca tried to fight off Nia Jax, Nia shoves Bianca into Sasha. And for some reason, Sasha is mad at Bianca. Bianca, she's mouthing out to Bianca. Bianca pretty much said, all right, fuck it, fine, you do it on your own. And in that moment, Shayna took it upon herself to roll up Sasha for the 1, 2, 3. So Shayna and Nia retain the women's tag team titles. Decent match, not much to it, like I said. Afterwards, Sasha is going off on Bianca, pretty much saying that she cost them the match, which makes no fucking sense. Like, Sasha comes off so goddamn stupid, because now if if the breakup happened where like Sasha's back was turned and then Bianca got shoved into her where she didn't see it, maybe I'd buy it. But the spot that happened, Sasha was clearly staring at Nia and Bianca and clearly saw Nia shove Bianca into her. So for her to be mad at Bianca makes no goddamn sense. So to me, Sasha just came off incredibly stupid in that segment, but it is what it is. She, like I said, she's bitching at Bianca, ends up bitch slapping her and pretty much saying WrestleMania would kick your ass. So You know, Sasha and Bianca, not the best build so far, but Bianca, you got to give her credit. Her facial expressions are fucking on point. She doesn't have to say a word. All she has to do is give a look or do some mannerisms, and you know she's pissed off and she's gonna kick her ass. So Bianca's doing a good job selling the match so far, but Sasha not really holding up her end of the bargain, if you ask me. So yeah, that was a decent match to open the pay-per-view, and then followed suit was the Intercontinental Championship match, Big E defending against Apollo Crews. Right from the get-go, Big E immediately hits the apron spear, does a handful of splashes onto the apron. He's just beating the holy hell out of Apollo immediately, so I thought it was great to see that aggression, Big E talking shit and just throwing him around. It's very refreshing to see the babyface doing that to the heel rather than the heel doing that to the face, so I thought that was great aggression from Big E. But at one point, Apollo took advantage of opportunity, was able to counter suit with some German suplexes onto Big E. They have a short little match, not much to it. At the end, they were kind of just, Big E was going for the big ending, but Apollo was countering it into a cradle. But then they were kind of like rolling around a little bit, and then the finish, I'm pretty sure, is fucked up. I'm pretty sure the finish was supposed to be Big E rolling him up or, kind of some kind of cradle pin. But the way it came off, it was very clear that I think they were still trying to exchange cradles. So, I don't know. It came off very flat and very bad, if you ask me. So, Big E gets the surprise win, I guess you can say, over Apollo. But Apollo didn't give a shit. He immediately starts beating up Big E. Spams a bunch of angle slams on him, so I don't know if that's Apollo's finish now or what, but he just hit Big E with like 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 angle slams in a row, and so that was that. Obviously, the feud's going to continue. I don't really want to see another singles match at WrestleMania. To be perfectly honest, I'd prefer to see the Intercontinental title defended in a multi-man match, maybe another multi-man ladder match that we haven't seen in quite some time. I don't want to see Apollo and Big E in a singles. I don't mind seeing Apollo partake in the multi-man match, but again, I just don't really want to see another singles match between the two of them. So, great aggression for Big E. Just, kind of a disappointing match just because of how short it was. After that, we had a skit backstage for Old Spice. It was a commercial where Average Joseph, or Joseph Average, whatever his name is, who was Rick Buggs in NXT, won the 24/7 title from R-Truth, but then R-Truth immediately won it back from him. So it was a little comedy skit, not much to it. Next we had, which was supposed to be Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon, which makes no goddamn sense because they promoted it on Raw, and the next day they took it off the website. They haven't acknowledged it since. Then all of a sudden the kickoff show happens, and they're promoting it again. It made absolutely no sense. But Shane's claiming he's injured. He hurt himself running on the ring earlier training, so he's out of the match, and he's replaced by Elias. So Strowman comes out, beats the holy hell out of Elias for a good little while. At some point, Elias has a small glimmer of hope, has a small comeback, but Strowman quickly just shuts him back down, hits the running power slam. 1, 2, 3, defeats Elias. So not sure why they felt that was needed on the show. They didn't need to do it. They could have just saved Strowman and Shane from Mania, but I don't know. I guess they just felt Braun needed a win against going to WrestleMania. So, and Elias has been booked incredibly strong, lately. So it makes all the sense in the world if you ask me. Obviously sarcasm there, but it is what it is. I guess that was just to take up some time in the pay-per-view. Next, we had Seth Rollins taking on Shinsuke Nakamura, which I thought was a very fun match. These two went out there and, brought their 2015 selves back. Seth Rollins was busting out moves. Hell, he was even moving in the ring like he was back in 2015. He was really crisp and smooth, and he looked absolutely awesome, and so did Shinsuke Nakamura. I thought, again, like Seth Rollins, he was performing like his, 2015 New Japan self almost. So it was a good time watching Rollins Nakamura. Definitely was a better match than the Survivor Series match from a few years ago, if you ask me. Just very enjoyable stuff. Nakamura was working on the back of Rollins while Rollins was working on the knee of Nakamura. So I thought they were telling a very good story. Rollins got the upper hand for a good little while until Nakamura got the upper hand by hitting the sliding German suplex off the ropes. From there on, they exchanged a bunch of blows, and the finishing sequence was really, really fun. They were just countering everything they were throwing at each other, doing some great spots. Nakamura going for the inverted suplex, but Rollins able to counter it and going to the buckle bomb, but Nakamura fights out of it. But then Rollins counters the running knee into the buckle bomb. It's just a bunch of counters and exchanges from both men. I thought that was tremendous stuff. One spot I absolutely love was when Rollins went for the stomp, but Nakamura moved. But when Rollins put his foot down, Rollins kind of reversed it and gave him a huge round kick to the head, which I thought was absolutely fantastic. That was definitely a fresh and unique spot that we haven't seen Rollins do before. So absolutely love that. They're trading blows back and forth, but can't hang suit. Rollins just absolutely destroyed Nakamura, hits him with a brutal stomp for the 1-2-3 and picks up the win. So great win for Rollins. Great match against Nakamura. Like I said, definitely was reminiscent of both their 2015 selves. I thought Rollins looked absolutely phenomenal here, and Nakamura, ever since he's turned back face, he's been great. So yeah, it made for a great match. And after that, we had the no-holds-barred match between Drew McIntyre and Sheamus, and these two went out there and beat the holy fuck out of one another. Holy hell. If you thought their previous matches were brutal, these two went out there and kicked it up a notch. Welts all over each other. Sheamus bleeding. McIntyre looked like a complete badass, by the way, with the Braveheart face paint. I thought he looked absolutely awesome, so hats off to him for that. But yeah, they beat the holy hell out of each other. A kendo stick got involved where McIntyre was shoving it into Sheamus' eye, which I thought was brutal. They went to the outside where they fought into the crowd area, or not the crowd area, but where the screens are at for the Thunderdome. McIntyre just threw Sheamus through the screens, and pyro went off. McIntyre just gave no shits, man, and Sheamus was turning the receipts as well. He gave McIntyre a suplex right into the concrete, which was just absolutely brutal. Gave him a white noise off of the barricade through the announce table. They fought off into the scalpel. They were just all over the place, and they were laying their blows in, man. They weren't taking it easy whatsoever. These two were just beating the holy fuck out of each other. Stiff hits left and right. I loved absolutely every second of it. McIntyre was giving him belly-to-bellies onto the outside like he was absolutely nothing. They were taking their bumps, man, and they definitely went out there and brought a fight. This type of match to me embodies what a no-holds-barred match should be, if you ask me. Just two dudes going out there beating the holy shit out of each other, using anything necessary it needs to be to put the other person down. I thought it was fantastic stuff. Finish was even better. Back in the ring, Sheamus takes, one of the end of the tables, because the table obviously collapsed from the white noise. Takes one of the end pieces, tries to hit McIntyre with it, but McIntyre ends up dodging it, ends up hitting the Future Shock DDT onto that piece, and then immediately hits the Claymore on Sheamus, which, man, fucking took Sheamus' face off that Claymore. He stiffed the shit out of him with that kick. Hits a huge Claymore on McIntyre, or on Sheamus for the 1-2-3 for McIntyre to get the win. So, yeah, incredible match. McIntyre and Sheamus just have fantastic chemistry, man. I can honestly watch those two wrestle all day. Tremendous series of matches they had this past month. So, great stuff. Brutal match. Yeah, loved every second of it. And then from there on, we go to Randy Orton taking on Alexa Bliss. And, yeah, immediately during Orton's entrance, he starts doing the whole gimmick where he's spitting up the black shit. Alexa Bliss comes out skipping all happy. Anytime Orton tries to get his hand on her, she does some magic bullshit, whether it's, pyro going off, or she even made lights fall down in front of him to the point where Randy Orton legitimately said, "Are you trying to kill me?" Come on. I know they can work around not having crowds so they can do stuff like this, but doing supernatural stuff with Alexa Bliss, I don't know. It gets to the point where it's a little too corny, and it's kind of a little ridiculous if you ask me, but Alexa Bliss is phenomenal in her role. She's absolutely amazing, and I thought she did an amazing job in this segment with Randy Orton. Back in the ring, she throws a fireball at Orton, but Orton somehow dodges it, I guess. But as that's happening, all of a sudden, you see a hand come up from out of the ring, grabs Orton. Orton's like, what the fuck? And then none other than a burnt up, badass looking Fiend comes rising up from the ring. Orton's like, oh shit. Runs right into his sister Abigail from the Fiend. And Alexa Bliss covers Randy Orton. And the referee just appears and counts the pin like it's nothing. So I don't know why the referee allowed that to happen. from what I recall, there was no ever mention of this match being no disqualification or anything like that. So I'm glad that rules don't apply for intergender matches, I guess. But yeah, I think, the match went exactly pretty much as I envisioned. I mean, I didn't envision Alexa Bliss beating Randy Orton. I didn't think the match would have a winner, but I pretty much envisioned this to be a whole setup for The Fiend, and it pretty much went exactly how I thought. The Fiend's new mask looks absolutely awesome. Love the new burnt look and everything. But I will say, the new tactical gear shit that The Fiend's wearing, I'm not a huge fan of. I understand they gotta, give him some gear that kind of covers him up so that way he can kind of, not show skin, so you can kind of give that burnt look to him still. But I don't know. It didn't look like it was fitting. It kind of looked like he was trying to be like a wannabe Shield member, if you ask me. Or like, when the Shield first debuted, that's what he kind of looked like if you ask me. But yeah, the mask looks absolutely awesome. I am a huge fan of how the mask looks, however. But yeah, looks like it's going to be Fiend and Randy Orton at WrestleMania. I'm not too sure if it's going to be a Firefly Funhouse match. I know that's what a lot of people are hoping or betting it's going to be, but you kind of need the regular Bray Wyatt to do that. So I'm not sure how they're going to bring the regular Bray Wyatt back into the fray, but we'll see how it goes. We still have 3 more weeks for WrestleMania, so we still have 3 more Raws for them to build and see, what kind of match they're going to give us. So. And then, of course, go to the main event, which is for the Universal Championship. Roman Reigns defending against Daniel Bryan with special ringside enforcer Edge, who, of course, will be facing the winner at WrestleMania. And this was an incredible main event. Earlier today, I watched Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan in their first Fastlane match from 2015, which was an incredible match. And these two went out there and topped that match, if you ask me. This was incredible. Loved every second of it. Match started off kind of slow. Bryan, kicking Reigns, trying to run around and I don't want to say outrun him, but kind of maneuver around him, try to get around him to strike him. But Reigns is kind of taking it slow, trying to be methodical. Pretty much how all of his title matches have been since, he's been champion. But as the match progressed, Bryan was able to pick up his momentum and chop Reigns down to his size. Reigns was selling fantastic with, the kicks to the leg and, him just getting his ass kicked by Bryan. And the final few minutes were just phenomenal as well. That's what really made this match, if you ask me. The final 5 or so minutes were just phenomenal storytelling, honestly. It was just tremendous. And yeah, there were a lot of great near falls in this match, to the point where I thought Bryan was going to win. Bryan absolutely destroyed the referee with a running knee. The referee just absolutely ate every fucking inch of that running knee from Bryan, which I thought was hysterical. And of course, at that point, Edge took it upon himself to get in the ring. Bryan put him in the triangle choke, but Reigns, powered him up into a powerbomb and break it up. Bryan was able to, once again, lock in the yes lock, but as Edge is, looking for the submission, out comes Jey Uso. Jey Uso super kicks Edge and Daniel Bryan to help Roman Reigns. Then Bryan fights back, once gets a chair, takes out Jey Uso, and then ends up taking out Roman Reigns. Looks like he's going to win, has Roman Reigns in the yes lock, and then what you thought would never happen. Honestly, I would not think this would happen, at least in this day and age, especially with, Roman Reigns' current gimmick. Roman Reigns submits to Daniel Bryan. He's tapping out. Lightly, but he's tapping out. But Edge, doesn't give a shit. Edge hits Bryan with the chair, breaks it up, doesn't want Bryan to win, beats down Bryan with the chair, and then, Roman Reigns makes a cover. New referee comes in, makes a pin, 1, 2, 3. So Roman Reigns successfully retains the Universal Championship against Daniel Bryan in the main event. Yeah, like I said, the final 5 minutes or so, tremendous storytelling. Honestly, that got me so excited for WrestleMania. As of right now, it's Edge and Roman Reigns. But due to the finish and how they booked it, there's no way Daniel Bryan does not get added. It has to be a triple threat WrestleMania, which is going to be absolutely fucking amazing. So I'm very excited for that. I can't put this main event over enough. Just amazing booking, if you ask me. Absolutely loved it. That was a fantastic main event to close, which honestly I thought was a really good pay-per-view. I'm seeing a lot of mixed reactions. I'm seeing a lot of people enjoyed it. A lot of people didn't enjoy it. I thought the first half of the show was fine. But, once Nakamura and Rollins started, I think everything from there on was great. So the second half of the show was a lot of fun and really enjoyable, which, to me, rounds it up to still a really good pay-per-view. It wasn't really anything bad besides, I guess you can say Strowman and Elias, but that was a squash match. Who really cares? So, yeah, really good pay-per-view if you ask me. It's getting me excited for WrestleMania. Going to WrestleMania this year, I wasn't too sure how I was going to feel about it, but with the way the card's shaping up and honestly with the way they've been building some of the matches, I'm excited. And yeah, I hope you guys did the video. If you guys did, please feel free to leave a like below. And of course, the next time, I'll see you guys then. Thank you guys for watching the video.